Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn medicine. Today, adrenaline, and after we've done it, we're gonna do stretching. And if you participate in the stretching, then it's very honest. And we are just here for medical learning, so this is no medical advice. We're just here and trying to learn what adrenaline is. Adrenaline is a hormone produced by the adrenal glands. Okay, there are some of the adrenal glands and they can produce adrenaline. Whenever a person faces an emergency or feels anger, shock, fear, or some other strong emotion, adrenaline is passed rapidly into the bloodstream to speed up the heart rate and breathing, to make the muscles work faster and longer than usual, and so to prepare the body for action. Injections of natural or synthetic adrenaline are used to treat bronchial, asthma, or severe allergy and other conditions. Let's read the thing again. Also, anything is written about activity. A hormone produced by the adrenal glands. Whenever a person faces an emergency or feels anger, shock, fear, or some other strong emotion, adrenaline is passed rapidly into the bloodstream. Nothing written about activity. Our question is, does sport activity release adrenaline? It is not mentioned here. I don't say it's not, but it's not mentioned here. Imagine not a little thought here. Imagine adrenaline are not passed if someone has not emotions. What if someone does sport but in a meditative sense, like yoga or exercise like that? These would be exercises where the muscles have to work, but the person could be meditative and not get emotions, not strong emotions. Is that the reason why it's then maybe possible to keep breathing down? But it actually is a more important question than we just thought. So it's not just about that they don't mention it here. We actually have to look into it. Is adrenaline just released through psychological things? Or also through activities? Whenever a person faces an emergency or feels anger, shock, fear, or some other strong emotion, adrenaline is passed rapidly into the bloodstream to speed up the heart rate and breathing, to make the muscles work faster and longer than usual, and so to prepare the body for action. Injections of natural or synthetic adrenaline are used to treat bronchial asthma or severe allergy and other conditions. Okay, we're having the things together. Adrenaline is a hormone produced by the adrenal glands producing adrenaline. And they are released when a person feels strong emotions. Anger, shock, fear. Anger, shock, fear. We're going to mention these three when we're saying on one side. So pretty much we're basically making it clear we're talking just about this subject. If there exists another one with sport activities also releasing adrenaline, then it becomes clear this video was just about this one context. Anger, shock, fear. When these adrenaline are released through the adrenal glands into the bloodstream, and they are speeding then up the heart rate and the breathing. I think we're going to take it with short. Nothing to muscles work faster and longer than usual. Just heart rate and breathing. And this is when to make, but this is the consequence of it. Okay, the adrenal glands releasing adrenaline by strong emotions like anger, fear, or shock, and they are released through the adrenal glands into the bloodstream to increase the breathing rate and the heart rate. There exists natural and synthetic adrenaline injections, and they are used to treat asthma or bronchial asthma and severe allergy. There exists also natural and synthetic adrenaline injections, and they are sometimes used for asthma or for bronchial asthma, or allergy, for allergies. It is called LQKTOHJE. Let's try it. I have a second camera, which I'm going to start now. And let's try it. Adrenaline are released by the adrenal glands into the blood system when the person feels strong emotions like anger, fear, or shock. And when they are increasing the heart rate and the breathing rate. There exists also natural and synthetic adrenaline injections against asthma and what's the other thing? Energy. Asthma and energy. Adrenal. I want to say no, okay, no. Adrenal. Adrenaline. Adrenaline are released by the adrenal glands if a person feels strong emotions like anger, shock, or fear. And they are then in the bloodstream, and they are then increasing as hormones the breathing rate and the heart rate to make the person be fit. Oh, that's another, I don't want to say, but it doesn't fit. We want to take it very short, so it's clear that this is very short, just encyclopedia-like. Just hart und hart und hungry. Adrenaline are released by the adrenal glands if a person feels strong emotions like shock, fear, or anger. And they are increasing then the heart rate and the breathing rate. There exists also natural and synthetic adrenaline injections, and they can be used against asthma and allergies. And this is according to Keith Hodgkin's Family Medical Advisor, page 64, but this is no medical advice. I forgot again what it's called, medical advice. So I'm going to stop the camera now. And I'm starting it again. Because we have something else. It is more or less coincidental now with adrenaline together. Now, I heard something tell a story. I don't know if it's... I don't know the background, so it's just hearsay. But I think it's interesting. It was that there... Normally when people stand up, that... During that moment, the legs are shut off of the blood system. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I just heard it, but I think it's interesting. The legs are shutting off so that the person doesn't fall down, so that there's enough blood for the brain. So the legs are more or less shutting off for a little moment, that the blood stays there, and the blood can come into the head and the person doesn't fall down. Now, and then I heard that there are some people having a problem with that, and that is not happening, that the shutting off happens. And that causes that there's not enough then blood by the brain and oxygen, and the person feels dizziness. That's the first thing. And the second, more important thing then is, that causes then that the body is releasing these adrenaline, more or less coincidental now with this video, these adrenaline. And they are increasing the heart rate, we just had the heart rate and the breathing rate, and then the blood supply to the brain is reestablished. But the problem is, I heard it, I don't know if it's true, I heard it, that when the adrenaline are not immediately gone, that they're staying, not just for these 10, 20 seconds or whatever it needs to re-regulate the whole blood system, but they're staying long, I don't know how long, but 10 minutes, an hour, I don't know. But the problem is now, these people have no adrenaline in the blood, and they're feeling now, maybe possible, anxious, because they have adrenaline in the blood. And you basically don't really need, or have just because it wasn't properly shut off when they stood up. And they're feeling now anxious, and it was not because of a psychological thing. It was not because whatever makes someone anxious. It was because of, I don't know what it is, because of some type of disorder. And I think that's something very interesting. I don't know what it of all is but true, but I think that's a very interesting story, because it would mean that there are types of anxious state, if it is true, which have nothing to do with psychology. And that this person has not to feel anxiousness, basically, if there's no other way around it, without that the person can do anything against it. I think it was in the context of POTS, but I don't know it, and I don't really know what it is. And I think that's a very interesting story, that a person can feel anxious, but has nothing to do with psychology. And I want to say this story now also to the camera. And it's just a more or less political note. A hearsay story. When a person stands up, then the legs are shut off so that the blood can stay at the head for a short moment. But there are people who have a problem with that, and their legs are not shut off, and there's not enough blood at the brain, and they feel a little dizziness for a moment. But now the more important problem comes that when in that moment the body is releasing adrenaline to increase the breathing rate and the heart rate, so the blood supply is then re-established. But this adrenaline, they stay longer, not just for the few seconds that is necessary to get the blood system running properly again, but they are staying then longer and causing them anxiousness. And if it is all true, and I have no source of it, no proof of it, but if it is all true what I heard, then would it mean that a person can feel anxious without a psychological reason? Again, this is no medical advice and I have no source and no proof, it's just hearsay, but I think it's interesting. Okay, now I have it also as a video. I'm going to step my basic camera. And now we can do the stretching. If you are here for medicine, then you can go directly to the next part of medicine. We will do now stretching. If you stay and participate in the stretching, then it's better at your own risk. We are good and stable stance and we're lifting the arms up. Breathe in. And breathe out. Go over to one side. Again in. And out into the middle. Breathe in. And out over to the other side. Breathe again in. Out into the middle and the arms down. Now one sees the upper drives the next exercise. Breathe in. Out, one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out, we're taking one arm over. Breathe in and out in the ribcage. And out back into the middle. Breathe again in. And out, and one hand slides down. Breathe again in. And out, one arm over. Breathe in down the ribcage. And out into the middle. Next exercise. Feet are standing together, the aeronautic body at the airplane. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up. And breathe out, one arm down. Breathe in and reach. And out, one arm up. Again in. And out, one arm down. Breathe in and reach. And out, one arm up. And arms down. Legs shoulder wide apart. And we're doing shoulder circles. We count the front. Up. Back. And now breathe in and lift the shoulders up. Out, let them fall down. Again in. And out the arms down. Again in. And out the arms down. The other part, lift the arms up and reach always with one arm high up. Pretend to take an apple hanging high on an apple branch, turn it a bit around, and pretend to harvest it. And now we shift our legs wide apart, arms up to a T, breathe in. And out to one side. Breathe again in. And out to the other side. Again in. Out. And out, we're leaning onto the knees, the buffalo fighting its hangover. We're breathing in. And out, we bring one shoulder in front. And out, one shoulder in front. Again in. And out, the shoulder in front. Again in. And out, the shoulder in front. Shoulder back. Out, we're hanging down the Niagara Falls. And breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out over to one leg. Breathe again in. And out over to the other leg. Breathe again in. And out into the middle. Close your feet and get on the side of Angelo. Breathe in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out, we're coming slowly with your back up and making it with top of the big with the shoulder. And we're ending with a truncated lighter. Next white part, we're breathing in, count down. Breathing out. Again in. Out. And we're going to close the legs. And out. That was the stretching. I thank you very much, and until next time.